no lie, I am becoming more and more of a fan of First Take when J.J. Redick is there with Stephen A. Smith in particular. Like, I like First Take. Of all the shows, that's the one I watch the most. I hate when people say, oh, my favorite show is this. But then if you actually had like a viewometer in their house and their Nielsen ratings, they're watching something else. I'm just talking about what I actually consume the most of all the shows. It is First Take. I would have to say that. And when J.J. Redick is on there, whoo, that feels like a brother from another. Because I'm like, he is talking it not only former player perspective, bringing the big brain, you know, that big Duke brain, but also he is pulling no punches. He is going straight at it. So J.J. Redick had to reset the atmosphere, the tone, when they were talking about Kawhi Leonard. And it comes on the heels of when Stephen A. Smith said Kawhi Leonard was, quote, absolutely the worst superstar you can have on your team, right? So that's kind of already out there and it's in the air. And then now they're talking about Kawhi Leonard once again. And J.J. Redick had enough. Listen to J.J.
There's a lot to unpack there. I mean this in the nicest way possible to both of you, but listening to each of you right now, it's very obvious that you've played zero high-level basketball, and you do not understand the requirements of doing that. And I do mean that in a nice way.
Man, I love when people in a gentle, kind of almost like a Mr. Miyagi, like you got that gentle violence to you. Like, you know, I mean that in the nicest way. Let me slice y'all up. Woo! He talking about it's obvious they never played at a high level. And that's what needed to be said. That is exactly what I would have said in that moment. Why? Because that's the divide right now. Like, we're literally getting our sports dope laced with BS. BS from people who didn't play it. So therefore, it's really BS because they're talking and there's this huge gap of knowledge. Now, I know Stephen A. knows his games and he knows ball. But at the same time, when you go to those extremes to say that he's the worst superstar of all time, or you undermine a guy because of injury, then you really don't know the rigors of the game. And that's what JJ is talking about. The BS are the biases, the simplicities, right? The sensationalism, just the bullshit, right? Like, just, dog. It's okay to be entertaining, but you also can break it down the way it is. Kawhi Leonard is trying to climb up basically a hill made of sand. It's difficult. This is a hill that obviously doesn't have the strongest foundation, but it's not because of his effort and it's not because of his skill. It's just that's the way it is for Kawhi Leonard. And you would think that there would be a little more nuanced conversation about that instead of just throwing Kawhi out with the bathwater, you know? Because Kawhi is that special a player when available. So I think the discussion what J.J. Redick was showing, and he talked about Zion Williamson as well, guys who feel like they can't get to the next level and it's kind of out of their hands. You could say Zion and Kawhi, apples and oranges. I hear you. Zion looks like, and it sounds like he's a guy that they need to go motivate a little more to get after it. But that's not Kawhi. Kawhi is fully motivated, trying to do it, but at the same time, it's just not working. So where do you come down on that? The fact that J.J. Redick is up there saying, look, guys, you got to understand what we're dealing with. Like, the physical display of your greatness, which is athletics, is as fickle of a sport and as fickle as an occupation as you can get. Like, just think about how many times you walk around in your day without being a high-level athlete and you feel something, right? You step wrong, right? You get something caught in the door or whatever it may be. You just get up and say, oh, my back, my neck, and you haven't even went through the rigors yet. And I'm not making excuses for these guys. I'm just saying it's a part of the equation. You got to stand in line to be tall, got to stand in line to have the perfect body and the build, have to stand in line to be prepared for the moment, got to stand in line to be lucky. Like, people don't understand the luck line. You better get in that one too, because if it doesn't fall your way, there's a problem. I was watching the game last night, right? And I was watching Golden State go after it against Sacramento. And I saw Malik Monk fall down. Everybody saw it, right? When he fell down, you were like, Is this a Paul George fall down, the leg gonna come out, the bone just pop out his skin? And it felt that way, and it looked that way, and it scared Malik Monk like that. But it wasn't the situation. But that was because he was lucky. It wasn't because of nothing else. You can say, oh, no, he was ready. He was prepared. Oh, he did more lunges. He did more squats. The reality is sometimes you just need that luck. And you build your luck, but there is an unknown factor to it that even I wish I stood in that line and got more of that luck. So I just love the conversation. I love the banter between J.J. Redick and Stephen A. because we know Stephen A. is the ultimate entertainer. He's the king of this sports media stuff. Give him his props, y'all. Don't do that. And at the same time, there is a former athlete who has carved his way and found a niche that is also going to be able to speak to that power, right? And it's not just the power of Stephen A. and his voice, but it's the power of the people he's influenced and also doped up to think that if a guy is not healthy, the guy's not trying or the guy is just simply not good enough. Oh, I'm glad J.J. Redick is in the building to make sure we can balance those scales.